I'm back. Cousin Corey here. And I'm going to tell you, man, one of the greatest shows of all time. This is my opinion, but I'm sure many people will share this opinion. Greatest shows of all time is Breaking Bad. There are other shows I can name, but one of the greatest is Breaking Bad. Okay? One of the greatest shows of all time. Then there was a spinoff. Better Call Saul came along, right? And here we are now in the 6th and final season of Better Call Saul. And I'm going to do a recap and review. And I just think there's no better way to honor this show by me, yours truly, Cousin Corey, doing a recap interview. And we're going to start with episode 1. Titled Wine and Roses. Okay? Wine and Roses. And the beginning of this show starts out at Saul Goodman's house. You know, I think it's easy to see that this is basically the end. This is the future. Because we know where Saul ends up and what ends up happening to Jimmy McGill, Saul Goodman. And this looks like the authorities raiding his house, are just not raiding, but better yet, collecting his belongings from his house. So we get to see what his house looks like at the end. And I'm going to tell you, man, do you see Saul Goodman's house, man? My God, man, he's been ripping off some people, ain't it? Preferably old people. I wonder how many elderly Social Security checks did he rip off to get all these nice amenities in his house. And the way the house looks, I'm gonna tell you, you can tell that his girlfriend Kim, she's nowhere to be found. So you can tell that she's kind of nowhere to be found. And I'm gonna tell you, man, like, that's a nice house, man. It is immaculate, to say the least. But also, if you really want to look into it, you can do your research. There are people who've done videos and things about all of the items that they show in this scene. So a lot of the items are clothes and things that were specifically worn by Jimmy back from season 1 through 5, when he was pulling different stunts and different heists and things of that nature. And you know, you do your research, and there are people who break it down. There's so many things, you can't catch this stuff with the naked eye. You have to really go in, and you got people who really look into that. At the end of this scene, of course, you know, you see the cutout of Saul Goodman and everything. But at the end of this scene, the scene ends with Kim's good luck charm from the bottle top that she collected from their very first heist together. Their very first, well, I don't know if it's heist, but the little scheme they ran on like a stockbroker guy or something a couple of seasons ago. And it's a bottle top that Kim kept as a good luck souvenir. And the scene shows the bottle top falling out of a drawer as it's being loaded up into the truck. And I don't know if that's a little hint to come. I think that a lot of things in this scene is just a lot of hints of what's to come this season. And I don't know if evidently Saul Goodman kept that bottle top, but what happened to Kim and all that, we don't know. We're going to find out. Then it takes us to the scene with our friend Nacho. It kind of wraps up everything that's the ambush that happened back on at the end of season 5 with Nacho out there at Lalo Salamanca's ranch. And basically, you know, you got Nacho. He's out there in the wilderness, in the Mexico desert, hiding, and he's calling for help. And from there we go on to Lalo Salamanca. And Lalo Salamanca, it looks like he's stumbling over to his next door neighbor's house for help and assistance. And the lady, she's so nice, she offers him breakfast. And the man comes in, and they're all, hello Don Don Salamanca, Don Lalo. They all praising him, done this and done that, and they kissing his hand like because he's the godfather of the land. And this is just a very scene of many scenes that we get where it just reminds us of of what a psychopath Lalo is. That Lalo Salamanca, hey, he a psychopath. And basically he's so nice to the lady, and he's so nice. But when we see him pick up them scissors, he takes apart the scissors. We know what's coming next. It's not gonna be good. And he tell the guy to shave his face. And he telling the guy to shave his face just like him for a reason. Cut the beard off, and leave the mustache, senor. It looks so nice. I mean, this Lalo guy, he's something else. And you basically can see, and he asked his wife, how is the dental work going, right? So we know what that's all about. He had the dental work done for a reason, because he's been planning this. That show you a true psychopath, right? He's been planning to use this man to fake his death. And we know then when Lalo is in the bathroom telling him how handsome he looks, we know what's coming next. He got that psychopath look in his face. I mean, Lalo, he can be so charming and nice and humane, and he's like one tick away from stabbing you in the neck, burning you up, and using you to fake his death. I mean, what a psychopath. There we go to this scene with Kim and Saul Goodman, and they're basically just getting up in the morning, talking about what they have planned for the day, what clients they're going to be working with, and just pretty much having a normal morning for a not so normal couple. And from there, and something interesting happens. Also, you can notice kind of just how something is on Saul's mind. I don't know if it's where from previous in season 5, where he just he's just coming out of that desert ordeal where he was in the desert, still has the sunburn on his face. So I guess he's still like kind of experiencing trauma from that event. But it's interesting, Kim, she gets the something I know from the scene, how Kim gets the cup that she gave Saul with the bullet hole in it, and as they walk out to the car, she takes the cup and she puts the cup in the garbage can with the bullet hole in it, the world's best lawyer cup. Now I don't know what it I think there's some type of symbolism in that. Help me out in the comments. What is the symbolism in that? There's some type of symbolism in that, and what she's trying to say or what they're trying to do, I'm not sure. And after next is of course the scene where the Salamanca twins, they come walking up on Lalo's property in Mexico with the federales. They're doing their investigation, and it speaks volumes how those Salamanca boys, everybody's scared of them, ain't it? And everybody's scared of them. I think when them Salamanca boys pulled up to that compound out there, I'm pretty sure the coyotes ran for cover, because the police didn't say nothing to them boys. They let them boys walk on a live crime scene and just walk right in. Them boys don't never talk. They just walk. I mean, them boys, I don't know what's wrong. They're not very social guys, that's for sure. But they go up there and they walk in, and they discover to believe what is their relatives. It's Lalo, their uncle. Salamanca, or is he their daddy? I don't know. But he's a Salamanca. He's definitely they all got the same last name. But they discovered what they believe is Lalo's body, and they put their coat over the body and put a card on there to to pay respects to their relative. And of course, that's the corpse of the poor guy that Lalo, psychopath Lalo, made him shave his beard. That's Lalo's poor neighbor, that poor guy. And those guys, they look pretty pissed and look like they want some vengeance. So Gus, he gets the phone call from the big guy in charge that's running everything, and he tells Gus that Lalo Salamanca has been killed, and They investigating. They gonna try to figure out what's going on, and Gus is hearing everything he's saying. And Gus, man. He's highly calculated guy. You really can't get nothing over on Gus. He's thinking ahead of everybody. He plays super chess. So, he sits down and he calls in Mike and his guy, the black guy. I forgot the black guy name that worked for Gus. There's always got the funny expressions on his face. He does a lot of speak. He doesn't say much, but he does a lot of acting with his expressions. The black guy that worked for Gus. But that Gus, man, he be thinking, man. Yeah, so the guy tells him that the mercenaries were all killed. And that kind of makes Gus kind of think like, hey, wait, I don't know if he make him think like they say Lalo dead, but that make Gus kind of suspicious right there. Like Gus has his suspicions, So he brings in Mike and his concierge, I guess you could say. Mike and his two, the black guy that worked for him, they talk it out a little bit. So Mike, he tries to convince Gus to to let him go down there and pick up Nacho, but it's you can tell Gus wants to eliminate Nacho. He already has a plan in mind to eliminate Nacho, and when Gus has his mind made up, a lot of times there really isn't there's no talking him out of it. Gus just he kind of makes his own moves like that, and you can tell there's tension between Mike and Gus. You can tell. Mike he usually does everything Gus says, but Mike is just something like eating at Mike about this. Like he just doesn't want to. He wants to save Nacho. All right, so now we're at the courthouse with Jimmy and Kim. They come to the courthouse together. Boy, they have their nice little couple moments, don't they? And of course, Jimmy, he takes the brown suit, the brown double-breasted suit that he offered to give to Kim's client, and he hands it off to Kim to give to her client. By the way, that brown suit is a suit that Jimmy wore in the very first episode of Better Call Saul, if I'm not mistaken. That brown suit has some history with the show. They have all these Easter eggs. Like I say, there's so many Easter eggs. You can't catch all this stuff, man. And but anyway, Jimmy runs into the detective and the prosecutor, the mammy looking prosecutor there, and she they bring up some interesting questions, even though Jimmy is way smarter than them, but they bring up some questions about Lalo, like how he was able to post a $7 million bond, and also they suspect that the family that was in the courtroom was a fake family. They can't trace none of them, so they not waiting. They feel like he's already he's already fled, and they want to track down Lalo. And of course, Jimmy, he does his little talk and everything, and he does pretty good up until the part to where he slips and says Lalo's real name. And the mammy prosecutor was like, what is he talking about? She was like, Lalo, who is Lalo? And but that just goes to show you that Jimmy is really shook up about probably that trauma, man, from being in the desert and everything happened out in the desert. He's still shook up over that, and he made a mistake that we know is probably going to come back to bite him. It's going to make a difference later on in the season. The fact that he let Lalo's real name slip like that is probably going to come back. It's going to come back around. All right, so in this scene, they basically sit up and, they meet back. Saul, he walks in the front door. He gets to see the client, Kim's client, and he's wearing Saul's brown suit from episode 1 of the series. And basically, Saul and Kim, they have their couple time. They basically talk about how their day was. You can constantly tell that something is on Saul's mind. He's very disturbed, and Kim basically talks about her client, how her client's a poor kid, and his friend, the rich kid, robbed a liquor store, and the rich kid got a big lawyer he's gonna get away with, and the poor kid they're trying to blame it on him. And pretty much all of Kim's clients, since she's been a public defender, are she likes these kind of cases. She likes delivering justice to the poor people. You can tell that's what motivates Kim. And basically they just sit around and talk about about their next move. And Kim has an idea to go after Howard Hamlin at the Hamlin law firm, and they basically just talk about details on how they want to proceed with taking down Howard. And again, notice Saul looks very disturbed, like he's not okay with going after Howard. This is something Kim is pushing for, but I don't think Saul wants to really go after Howard. It's interesting to see that when it comes to a lot of the gimmicks and things, is Kim is she's the one that really wants to do a lot of the unethical things. Saul is the one who kind of doesn't. Really, if you notice, she kind of inspires Saul a lot. Like she kind of shapes Saul to become, the version of Saul that we see on Breaking Bad. It's interesting. Okay, so now we're back with Nacho. Nacho out there in the wilderness. We out here with survivalists. It's like watching a survivalist show with Nacho. Like they drop him like Man versus the Wild or whatever that show is, where the British guy, he gets dropped out in the middle of nowhere and he gotta survive. That's what we watching with. We watching the Nacho version of that. Okay, so we back with Nacho, and he finds this hotel. He runs into in this little motel, right? He jumps the fence, runs in there. This lady, she watching her stories or whatever she watching on TV at the front desk. She ain't barely even look at Nacho. I guess she just gets instructions from drug lords down there in Mexico all the time to just hand the key over to an anonymous man. And I guess that just happens all the time, because she just nonchalantly just hands the key. Nacho don't say nothing. He walk in, she hands the key to him. Nacho goes in the room. He finds an envelope with a gun and a cell phone. He gets the cell phone, calls, and they tell him, it sound like one of Gus's men. They tell him, hey, stay put. Don't answer the door. If somebody come to that door, you blow them away. And then Nacho gets on the phone. He gets settled, and then he calls. Well, right now, he's not Mike. He's Grandpa Mike. He calls Grandpa Mike, and Grandpa Mike's hanging with his granddaughter. And you can tell Grandpa Mike, he wants to answer that phone when Nacho's calling him, but Mike's a soldier. Mike does what he's told to do. And evidently Gus has something else planned for Nacho, and he doesn't answer the phone. But you can tell it's eating at Mike's conscience. He wants to help Nacho. So we have to keep it. We got to pay attention to this, because this is going somewhere. It's probably coming to a point where Mike's gonna have to make a decision. Is he gonna help Nacho or not? And then here we go back to this couples thing. I guess we got Saul and his beautiful girlfriend Kim. They're out on their little date. Some couples, they like to go out to the movies. They like to go out to the have some dinner or something like that. That's what some couples like to do, but not Saul and Kim. No. Saul and Kim, they like to go out on a steak mission where they set up somebody, where they set up an innocent man. That's their foreplay. What they like to do for their little date. They like to go out and set up an innocent and plant cocaine on an innocent man. Hey, babe, what you want to do? You want to go watch a movie? Nah, I don't want to watch a movie. Hey, you want to go play some miniature golf? Nah, I don't want to do that. Hey, you want to go to the park and feed the ducks and feed the squirrels? Nah. How about this? How about, Jimmy? How about we go plant some cocaine on Howard Hamlin? Let's go to the club the country club and plant cocaine on Howard County. All right, babe, let's go. You drive. And that's what they do. So they go, and I mean, Jimmy, she times them. She says, okay, Jimmy, you got 45 minutes. Jimmy goes in there, and I mean, he goes in there, asks for, he does his little slipping Jimmy routine. That guy, man, like, he can come up with some cons, can't he? He can come up with some gimmicks. So he goes in there and asks to see to get a tour of the place and everything. And who do they run into? They run into while he's in there getting his tour, he runs into old Kevin. Okay, that old Kevin guy, that bald head guy that worked for the bank, that was running things for the bank. He running to Kevin, and Kevin like, hell no, we ain't letting him in our country club. Hell no. Kevin go talk to that little tour guide guy, and the little tour guide guy, you know, he's like a little yes man. Yes sir, yes sir. And he goes over there, and I get rid of him, sir. He goes over there and declines Jimmy. And Jimmy's about to walk out there and take his L, take his defeat. But no. That's when Slippin' Jimmy comes. Yeah, go Slippin' Jimmy, right? He go into that slipping mode, and he goes and start hollering about how he's Jewish and they discriminating against a Jew and all that. And he makes a big scene. And guess what? It works. Jimmy gets back there. He gets back into the men's locker room, clogs up the toilet, and makes a distraction, clogging up the toilet. And just when I mean, any normal, Kim is telling them, Kim sent him a text message, abort. They're coming to the locker room. Jimmy goes for it anyway. He slips the cocaine into the locker and strips himself down naked just so he can blend in like he just got out the shower. And I mean, classic Jimmy, man. Classic Saul Goodman, man. I mean, he did it and planted the cocaine, and sure enough, when Howard opened that door, when he opened that locker, that cocaine come piling out. And the other guy, the Clifford guy, the Clifford attorney guy, when he sees that cocaine fall out, he's looking like, first of all, that Clifford guy, don't he act like a saint? He act like I bet it'll be funny if later on we find out Clifford got he's a pedophile or something, or he into hookers or something, because ain't nobody that clean. That Clifford guy, he's such a clean, squeaky guy. So when he see that cocaine fall out of Howard, he's like, oh my God, Howard. Like, you know, he's so surprised. It's just a great scene. Great scene. Good job, Jimmy. He pulls it off again. And I would presume, I guess that turned on Kim, and Kim and Saul probably went back to their little apartment, and that was their foreplay. They probably went to their apartment and got into some good fun. I'll just say that. Okay, and here we come. Oh, Lalo Salamanca. We got to see what he up to, right? That Lalo, he's a psychopath. We gotta watch him. He always up to something. So here he come, Lalo. He about to get into the smuggling truck, the hay truck where they smuggle. And that truck, if I'm not mistaken, that truck is another symbolism. That hay truck, I think, is the Salamanca twins, I think that when they first appeared in Breaking Bad, I think they blew that truck up or something like that. But it's from the past. It's either from in Breaking Bad or the past season Better Call Saul. Those Salamanca twins, they did something to that hay truck. They might have blew it up or something. But anyway, Lalo, he's finna get ready to get in the truck. These guys, they ready to go. Lalo, he's the Don, you know, his psychopath self. He say, hey, hold up, guys, I gotta make a call. And who does Lalo call? No, it ain't Ghostbusters. He calls Uncle Hector. He called Uncle Hector at the nursing home with that daggone bell. Let me tell you something. Uncle Lalo, I know he nearly tore that, broke his finger off hitting that bell when he heard Lalo. He was so happy. Ding, 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 ding. Let me tell you, that got to be like, I think Over half of his bill at that nursing home is taking care of Lalo, but the other half of that bill is in bills. They probably have to replace that bill every week at that nursing home. The way Lalo ring that bell, he about to ring that bell to death when he heard Lalo ding 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 ding. To me, that's one of the funniest things about this show. How Hector be on that doggone bell, bing bing bing, and he asks Hector a question, right? He asks him a question, and Hector bing bing, and then no, should I do this? Bing 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 bing. Should I do that? Bing bing. That little finger, boy, he can't move nothing else. But you know, he be twitching his mouth and twitching his nose like a rat, and then he ding ding with that little finger, boy. Hector be working that bell. So they Morse coding each other on the phone. He getting advice from Uncle Hector what he should do, and Hector beating the hell out of that bell. I know them nurses at that nursing home get sick of him. They be want to take that bell and throw him and that damn bell into the garbage, into the dumpster. But anyway, Lalo, he get through talking to Uncle Hector, so he decides, because he telling Uncle Hector that, hey, I think it's the Chicken Man, aka Gus. I think it's Gus. And Hector's like, bing, bing, bing. He Morse code him, bing, bing, bing. Do you have proof? Bing, bing, bing. And Hector's like, proof? I don't know. But, you know, Hector's out there trying to find. So Hector's on a mission to find proof. He's setting out on a mission to find proof. He don't need to get on the hay bus no more. So these guys, Hector want his money back. And these guys don't know that they messing with a psychopath. They say, hell no, we not getting your money back, Hector. Hell no. And go F yourself, right? And Hector say, okay. And they close, and all we know, we don't see it happen because we inside of the hay bus when it happened. Well, we hear bang, bang, bang. And it ain't, and we know what that means. And we hear some bodies hit the ground. And then sure enough, the psychopath, he opened up the hay thing, and guess what he does? He doesn't kill those people. He doesn't threaten those people. You know what the psychopath does? He gives them their money back. This is the thing about Lalo that's so crazy. Like 1 minute he's a murderer and a killer, and the next minute he's the nicest person you ever want to see. If that ain't a psychopath, I don't know what is. And that's where they leave us at the end of episode 1. Wines and Roses. That's it right there, folks. And I tell you, if you're still here at this point, you a rider. I appreciate you hanging with me, reviewing this episode. I really appreciate that. I don't even have to tell you. You already know to like and subscribe. You've already liked and subscribed. I know. You one of the people that ride with me, and I appreciate that. And share with a friend. Share this with a friend, and keep on, because I'm gonna keep on, because this is a great show. And I'm excited for this season. And this is just the first episode, and they gave us so much. It was so entertaining, and I can't wait to get to the next episodes. They're breaking it down, I think, into 2. It's either 2 or 3 different parts. I think they're gonna show some episodes right now. Then we're gonna get some more episodes. I think later on in July, something like that. And man, I'm gonna enjoy this last season of Better Call Saul, man. I mean, I'ma really enjoy it. And I'ma tell you, I just can't wait to see what Vince Gilligan and them boys got planned. They got some good plan for us, and I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the ride. Until next time, my friends,